Hey everybody, it's Phoenix Fitness Flow, and I'm thinking of changing my handle. I don't know. I'm changing that name almost as frequently as my mood changes or the weather changes. So we'll see. But for now, it's Phoenix Fitness Flow. I don't know. I'm thinking of just sticking with my name, Ilya. So I don't know. We'll see. So I'm back with finally another motivational video. It's been a while, and I always say that because that's always how it turns out, you know? Alright, so I will read it in Spanish and then I will translate. Encuentra belleza en lo cotidiano y alegría en los pequeños detalles. I'll read that again because there's one word I had to look up. Because my Spanish is good, but you know, there's some words, like different vocabulary words, that I have no idea what they are, so I have to look them up. So, encuentra belleza en lo cotidiano y alegría en los pequeños detalles. So, cotidiano is the daily. So, it's basically telling you to find the beauty in the daily and the happiness in the little details. And that's something that I rarely do, or trying to do. Sometimes I do, but let's be honest, I rarely do it. Mentioned before, depression, you know, that dark place, that hole, you know, it just, I don't know, I mean, it just consumes me, and it's hard to get out of that rabbit hole. And you know, I have tried, you know, oh my gosh, I'm journaling, you know, then I stop, then I continue journaling, then I stop. The journaling, it's funny because the journaling does help. You know, when I look back at what I'm writing, it's like, oh my God, this is the same story. I'm tired of reading the story. And if I'm tired of reading the story, why am I writing the story? The same thing over and over, and it's that darkness, you know, and depression can't be helped. You know, it's not a light you can turn off and on. You know, it doesn't work that way. So it's just, it's working on yourself. It takes a lot of work, but it's important to put that work in, and it's something that I have found hard to do. Even though I do it, there are times where the sadness just completely, it's like a truck that hits me really, really hard, and I give up for that day, for that moment, you know. So, you know, recently with everything going on, and the nightmare biopsy, which I've mentioned before, the IBS, the gastritis, and now the plantar fasciitis, or supposedly it's not, it's just like a stretch, or it's like not even a tear, because that's what plantar fasciitis is, like a tear. You know, you can, you know, tear it can rupture, whatever, but in this case it was just like a stretch. So the fascia apparently stretched out because I wasn't doing much. You know, after the biopsy, it was just sitting down, really not doing much at all, you know, because of everything that I constantly mention. So when I actually did start doing things like, you know, a little bit of exercise, and the shoes that I was wearing at the time sucked. They weren't clogs, Klogs, not those clogs. Those clogs are amazing, but it was a clog style shoe that was very hard, and I've been wearing them for a while, you know, because they were on sale cheap, and like the mom says, lo barato sale caro, which is, you know, the cheap stuff sometimes turns out to be expensive, and in this case it's going to be expensive because I have to go to physical therapy, and oh God, it's just so much. But getting back to this, see, I'm already starting, right? I'm already starting the rant, I'm already starting the negativity, and it's just, you know, piling up in my mind, and it comes out verbally, both out loud to myself, inside my brain, and to others who are willing to listen, like my poor brother. But in this case, like it says here, you gotta find the beauty in the daily and the happiness in the little details. And the little details can be things like, you know, having a cup of coffee in the morning. You know, I can't have coffee the way I used to, unfortunately. That was my thing, coffee, chocolate, tomatoes, all that stuff. But the acid, can't do it. So the only thing I can have is espresso, and it's gotta be this one particular brand of espresso that Thank God for Michelle. We worked together. She sent me one Christmas a couple years ago. She sent me that coffee, so I tried it, and it's rad coffee. And it is, not only does it taste amazing, but it's the only coffee that I can have. I've tried other espressos to experiment, and I cannot have those at all. So I try my best to savor this one. It's not even a full cup, although with the pills I've been taking, supplements, I have been able to tolerate a little bit more. Like instead of this much, it's just a little bit more. So I'm trying to savor the moment, because I love coffee. So I try to savor that in my day. My routine is in the morning. That's when I have it. And it's just really trying to be in that moment. And when I sit down and I do work, I'm not savoring that moment if I'm just diving in. Because sometimes it's that obsession, like I gotta check my emails and I gotta see what's going on. I saw this email last night and I didn't answer it. I need to do it. I'm not savoring that little moment, that one part of the day where the coffee is just that smell, that sip, it's just pure bliss. I'm not savoring it. I'm not doing it. Any of that. The morning should be, for me, it should be that time of just quiet. Quiet and just relishing in what I'm eating and listening to, maybe listening to some music, I don't know, but just kind of just being at peace with my thoughts in that moment, and trying in that moment, which I've done before, is not to think of all the stuff that's bothering me, all the bad stuff. No, just think about all the good stuff, the hope of the day. That's a new day. A new day brings new hope, new possibilities. So that's what I try to do. I do fall off the wagon in this respect of negatively thinking, but it's a big deal and it's super important. And as far as finding the beauty, the beauty can be in different things. Like I was trying to do this when I was able to go outside, was just admiring the trees when they were turning color. The beauty in the leaves that are fallen. That sound, that crunch, the beauty in the crunch, because it's just, for me, I know it doesn't sound relevant, but for me, it's just the beauty of the changing leaves, which a lot of people find during the fall, but it's also the beauty in the leaves that have fallen on the floor, unless it's raining, and then they look, murky, mucky, muddy, and all that. But I loved looking at the leaves on the floor because it reminded me of when I was a child, we would go to the playground. In school they would take us to the playground because we didn't have a yard or a schoolyard or whatever, so they would take us to the park. And I remember, I'm just thinking about it right now, it was the park on, what was it, 120 something street? Anyway, whatever. I loved going to that park, and it reminded me of that, the crunching of the leaves, the smell, that just, oh God, just that nature smell in the fall, the leaves, and just, I don't even know if I'm making sense, but there's beauty in that. And I was really trying when I was going out to appreciate that, because it's not something that I would do even before the pandemic when I was actually going out to work, and it was a shame, and you don't realize that until you're stuck in a house, how beautiful nature is, especially if you're in the city too. But it was just so beautiful, and that's what I'm trying to do. And if I'm able to go out, which right now with the foot, it's very little, if at all, I do go out, and I'm really trying to do that. Just the beauty of the air, the crisp, cold air, which is something that I love, because I love the fall season, I love the winter season, I love the cold weather. My body deals with cold weather better, and I just love the brisk, chilly air. It wakes me up and makes me feel alive. So that's what I'm going to try to do, now, not just because it's the new year, but these are things that I know will mentally help me calm down and just appreciate the day. And if you appreciate a lot of these little things, by the end of the day, you're like, oh, I have a really good day. So if you do that, each day, imagine how mentally you're going to shift. Like that's what I'm thinking about this right now. You know, I'll shift that mindset from dark to light. And in the future, when the shit hits the fan, I'll be able to handle it a little bit better. You know, incorporating other things, you know, like meditation and all that stuff. But this is great because it's a great reminder to smell the flowers, as they say, and just see. You know, it is in the little details sometimes that you see, wow, I never noticed this before. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Have a wonderful new year, and I will see you with another motivational video